Alrighty, welcome back everybody to the Tradewaiters Podcast, the comic book club where we read a different trade paperback every single week. I'm Daniel, you're Nathan, we're brothers. We read comics.
We do all the time.
All the time.
So many comics.
Too much, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, we had...
I don't know what would be too much.
Sometimes I'll like just not write down the stuff that I read, you know, just because I'm like, I got too much to talk about. You know, I feel like annoying, you know.
I think as long as you're not...
Because we had like 2 weeks between episodes, and then we had like a 3-day weekend this last weekend. It's just like a lot of stuff.
Reading time.
So that seems like too much reading, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If it goes over that 7 issues that we do a day, it seems like it could be a lot of stuff, you know.
Yeah, could be.
But we'll see.
What do you think the conversion rate is for like normal books to like comics that we read annually?
I honestly think like...
How many Stephen Kings are we going through?
Stephen King's? I don't know. He's got a lot of short ones too.
Does he?
I kind of more like pages. So like if we do like, I feel like maybe 5 pages of a comic is 1 page of a book.
I think that's valid.
So if it's like a 120 page comic, it's like a math 25 pages of a book.
I don't think that's right.
20
24.
pages of 24 pages of a book, and maybe an average book's like 300. So like what, 12 books, 12 comics is 1 book.
One trade you're saying is 24 pages, and then over the course of a year, that's 1248 pages. That's like 3 Stephen Kings, isn't it?
And that if I read 3 books in a year, that I'm a reader.
Yeah, you are.
I like would talk about it.
You're gonna be on Book Talk.
Yeah, I would tell people I read a book. You know,
I hate those people that read like a book a week. I'm like, how do you have the processing power for that?
There's this fucking dude who like he was like a scam artist or something, but like he had like a bunch of companies or whatever, and he did a tech talk, and his TED talk was read a book a day. I'm like, fuck you.
What the hell?
Yeah. I mean, you're like,
it's like Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, maybe if you're like a super like CEO and you don't have to do anything all day, sure, you know. And he was talking also books within the profession you want to get better at.
Imagine someone takes that seriously and they get back from work, they make food, they do the dishes, and it's like 9 p.m. You're like, fuck, I gotta read a book right now.
Yeah, you don't, and then you just feel like shit,
and you're like, oh, I can't do what
he wasted. However much money on his course or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
comics are much better.
You
could read one of those a day.
Probably, yeah. That
even that can be kind of a lot.
A trade a day.
No, not a trade. I'm saying just a floppy.
Floppy a day. That's good for the soul.
That's healthy. It's good.
Yeah, and good for your need to read pile.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Nathan, we got different time codes in our description. We got the book, which is DC Mech. We got Back Matter Matters in the poll list, but we start with the news. What kind of news you got?
I got some absolute news.
I got absolute sad news, Nathan.
Oh, absolutely. Let's start with the absolute sad news.
Big RIP to Peter David.
Yeah.
He's a comic book writing legend.
Mm-hmm.
He brought you things like
Spider-Man 2099,
X Factor, I think.
I have this trade of the X Factor, the one where like multiple man looks all cool and stuff.
Really?
I have that.
I was looking through like his stuff, and that looks really cool.
Yeah,
I'm interested in that big guy in the background.
Strongman.
Yeah,
he's cool in that book.
Yeah, we should read that like soon.
Yeah, I'd be down. Yeah, but Young Justice, he had a pretty long run on like the Hulk, I guess.
Yeah,
which is super sad. Definitely.
Dude was only 68.
He really? Yeah, he had some. I don't think they said what kind of disease it was, but there was a Kickstarter or some sort of fund going towards it
or whatever. Yeah,
which sucks because in 2023, 2 of his original creations were featured in Marvel films that made a combined $1.5 billion.
Yeah,
which doesn't feel nice considering that creator.
What was the other character?
It was 2099, and it was a Captain Marvel character. Or no, it was a Guardians of the Galaxy character. But she wasn't like that big.
I think
she like showed up at the end, but I guess that's like her.
Isn't that Quasar?
Is it?
Yeah,
maybe.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I think he had Captain Marvel run, but like
Yeah, he did.
Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah, that's a bummer. That sucks. I've only heard good things.
Yeah, I think I've read a little bit of his Young Justice, I want to say. But he would always be kind of popping around, so it sucks.
Mm-hmm. In other news.
In absolute news, Daniel.
Yeah.
Scott Snyder is working on an absolute Joker special with Jock.
So one shot?
Yeah, I think it's a one-shot special thing.
Is Joker included in like his little group of friends that he like grew up with?
Batman?
Yeah.
No.
You know how like he's friends with all his villains or whatever?
No, I don't think he was friends with the only Joker we've seen is like in the first couple issues, and he's like in Arkham already. There's like it's kind of cut off here, but there's like a little scene where you just see his hand. So
that could be anybody.
It's Joker.
Okay. Hey, then you know Mark Miller?
Oh yeah.
You know JRJR?
I'm familiar with both.
John Romita Jr.
Yes, they did Kick-Ass.
They did Kick-Ass. They're reuniting
for Kick-Ass
for a book called Psychic Sam. It'll be a Kickstarter.
Really?
It'll be a 64-page book, and I guess there's also like a movie coming.
That Netflix money run out? Why is he kickstarting it?
I don't know. I think they need to kickstart it in order for it to be like separate from Netflix. Yeah. So self-funded. Because I think if you
that's probably part of his contract. Like if he does any other work, like he has to probably just self-publish.
Right. That's maybe why he's cranking out so much shit, is because like Netflix is paying for it or whatever.
Which is good for him. I mean, get your bag.
Yeah, definitely. So that's a thing. You saw some pages. You know, it looks like JRJR. What was the?
That's a Hall of Famer, Daniel.
What the fuck was the premise? It was like the guy can like see his visions of people dying before they die.
Like right before they die, or like if
like
he saw someone
he's got
out
some
on the
time,
street.
like he's able to stop it. You know, and the Kickstarter said volume 1 of 3, so there'll probably be like 3 64-pagers or whatever.
Oh, and so like 6 issues, or no, that'd be more. It'd be like
9 roughly.
9, yeah.
Because you know it does like 20 pagers.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I'm not gonna fund it, but it's open right now if anyone is interested.
I'll maybe check it out.
I think it was open for like an hour when I saw it, and it was already like halfway funded.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That guy's got some pull. And they probably like was shooting a little high as well.
It's only like 26 grand.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah. But anyway, what else you got?
I got the big news.
Yeah. It depends on what you consider big news.
DC Marvel crossover.
Okay.
There's going to be 2 of them. There's going to be a Marvel one and a DC one.
Yeah.
The Marvel one shot is going to be like a Batman Deadpool one written by Zeb Wells with Greg Capullo on art. Releases September 17th. Capullo. And the DC's one shot will be written by Grant Morrison with art by Dan Mora, releasing in November.
So is this that thing that Grant Morrison was talking about? Like the special Batman thing?
I think so.
Okay.
Which is cool.
For a one shot?
It's like, I don't know I'm confused by it a little bit because it seems to be a DC Marvel crossover, but they're really advertising just like Deadpool Batman. So but there's also like
the Marvel one's Deadpool Batman, and then the DC one's Batman Deadpool.
But then there's also like a Kevin Smith, Chip Zdarsky, Kelly Thompson, Adam Kubert, Terry Dodson, Guri Huru, and more. They're going to be a part of it. So really? I don't know what part they're
going to be big. Like they'll be like double size or whatever.
Yeah.
If not more.
So
maybe they'll be like, it says also featuring or something on there?
Yeah.
Weird. I didn't hear that part. Because when you look up like...
It says like the Marvel one shot will also feature creators like Kevin Smith, Chip Zdarsky, Kelly Thompson, Adam Kubert, Terry Dodson, Guri Huru, and more.
So what is that? 3 writers?
Kelly Thompson, yeah. Kevin Smith.
Chip.
But he can draw.
Yeah, I guess. He'd probably be writing that.
That'd be cool if he got to do a crossover, like written and drawn.
Yeah. So maybe some like 8 pages or something in the back.
Yeah. I hope Chips does some Deadpool because I feel like he'd probably do the best.
Probably.
Just because he's the funniest of the group, in my opinion. But yeah, pretty cool. We knew that there's some sort of Marvel DC crossover thing happening in some form. And DC really equipped up, got Grant Morrison. Marvel just got Zeb Wells. So
this means a lot, right? Because
it does.
We knew there was going to be the crossover.
We didn't know what it was.
Yeah, we kind of assumed it'd be DC Marvel or something.
Yeah, DC versus
Marvel.
Marvel.
Like a versus or whatever. But they're doing 2 characters from each. So I guess we can expect more character crossovers.
Yeah.
So
who'd you like to see?
Deadpool is kind of something I didn't think they'd really like pair up Batman with.
I think it makes sense because he can make some jokes about Deathstroke or whatever.
Yeah, that he hasn't made already.
Yeah, but to Batman's face. Wouldn't that be so cool, Daniel?
Yeah. Maybe there's like a Superman and like Wolverine.
That'd be cool.
You know, there's bits about him not being able to slice him up or whatever.
Give me Hulk, Green Lantern. They're both green. Next one. The Flash. And Jeff the Land Shark. Some like a little cute one.
The Flash, then what's a Marvel character? Like fucking I don't know, dude. I'm kind of blanking. I don't know.
The Flash and Spider-Man.
Probably, yeah.
He gets caught in some webs and he can't run.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll buy him. But like as far as like I can't come up with
buy him.
There's not like a matchup that I would be like,
oh, I gotta see that,
interested in or whatever, you know? Or
yeah,
like,
I think a lot of the
I don't have like a wish list for it.
I think it'd be kind of cool if there was like some new
characters. Punisher Batman.
Punisher Batman would be cool.
They can talk about how they get their morals.
Yeah, Punisher could talk about how he hits them and they stay down. Batman, I would, if there's Joker, I would have shot him.
They're just at Starbucks and they're having a nice, quiet debate.
That'd be sick. I would read that.
64 pager.
Yeah, there's no action or anything.
Yep.
I think it'd be cool if there was like newer generation heroes, like a Spider-Man, like a Miles Morales, and then some new DC character maybe.
Damian Wayne.
See? Yeah, that'd be cool.
Or the new Superman or whatever.
And they can talk about, isn't it weird that we're just like legacy heroes and there's like ones that people like better than us?
Yeah.
And they're having coffee.
Never wanted to fall in the footsteps of my dad. But anyway, that's exciting.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Nathan. Okay.
Yo.
You know who's back?
No.
The Punisher, baby.
He's back?
He's back for Punisher Red Band.
Oh, cool.
A 5-issue miniseries come from Ben Percy and Julius Ota.
That sounds familiar, but...
Coming September 10th.
Red Band.
What does that mean? You know what it means, Nathan?
No, not really.
You know a Red Band trailer?
Yeah, I don't know what that means, though.
That means there's bad words and boobs sometimes.
Whoa.
You know, it's...
There'd be bad words and boobs in this Punisher comic?
Yeah.
Do they have Red Band trailers with bad words and boobs?
Yeah, like I think they had them for like Deadpool and stuff.
You
know, just kind of so like kids don't watch it. The green band is like normally for kids and stuff. And the red band are like the more adult trailers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought when it was red, they were just like having a little bit of fun.
It's all branding.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So is it going to be like explicit then? I would imagine.
I imagine it would probably be like Max or whatever. I don't even know if they're really doing Max anymore.
I don't think so. I think they just kind of go with it and they just say it's explicit.
Was the last Jason Aaron thing did that have Max or anything on it?
No.
Was it a violent book?
It's pretty fucked up.
Okay, so I think you just know they have ratings on him still, don't they?
It'll say explicit on there.
Yeah.
So,
but
it's not very big words.
Get Fury was Max though.
Was it?
Yeah, but it's not like Get Fury Max.
I think it's cool if it is Max. You know what I mean? Like oh, Marvel Max. Like it has such like a.
I don't know, dude. Werewolf by Night was Max. That book that we read.
That sucks. But that was in the beginning. Like they can't all be winners, but it's cool knowing that you have like a Marvel Max. I guess.
Yeah.
In my head, maybe it's not.
I'd like it to stick around, and then you know when one's just like a step further than the other.
I can't remember a single thing about that Werewolf by Night book.
I just remember how it looked.
I remember vaguely how it looked. I can't tell you a single story beat. That's funny.
Ooh, I remember reading it, waiting in line to get on a cruise. And that was the only thing that I had to pass the time. Anyway.
How nice.
Any other news from you?
Nope.
All right, not a lot of news. We like it. What book did we read this week, Nathan?
We read DC Mech by Kenny Porter, Baldemar Rivas, and Mike Spicer. Wasn't this one of them things that was like, you got to vote for what book you want to read?
Oh, was it?
Was it?
I don't know. Maybe. I believe you if it
This rings a bell in my head. No, actually, I think I'm thinking of a Superman story that was a part of that, but Kenny Porter wrote
Dude,
it.
yeah, dude, they did all that fucking voting shit, and then some shit that you wanted to happen didn't get done.
Yeah,
And then like I don't even
I think
remember.
they did some of them anyway.
I have to fucking hunt those down and see if they even made any of them.
I don't think they made all of them because there were some like bad ideas I think in there, but I think I'm confusing it with one of those books that Kenny Porter was on, and I think it's a Superman book. So
Okay,
that's just how I know this dude.
what'd you think about this?
I think it could have been better.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
Perhaps
I don't
everything
know what
could be
it
better.
is about it.
So,
I guess there's just like too much going on. I think
the thing that kind of upset me was that this is a different universe than DC, to where they need mechs
yeah,
to fight big parademons.
I think that's fine.
I thought it'd be like normal DC universe, big threat needs some mechs.
The way that I'm thinking about it, I'm trying to put it in the framework of like Jurassic League,
Okay,
which it's not like they had to become dinosaurs to fight off. Like they were just dinosaurs from the beginning.
right.
And so I'm fine that it's like a different universe, and they were like, we need to make mechs for some reason. I don't think that was explained very well. Like, what does the Flash need to be in a mech for? You know, like it's stupid. And this is a comic
Could
book,
the
and
mech even move nearly as fast as the Flash does? And does anyone have powers? Because no one uses powers outside of their mechs,
I feel like the Flash does.
and they have to like charge up or something.
No, there's definitely powers because they were using powers to fight the first threat that inspired them to make mechs. You know what I mean?
Right. But now, do our Justice League in the modern day have any powers?
Other
'Cause
than
we don't
Green
see them.
Lantern, I don't really think so.
Okay, yeah, because there's no example of it really.
Mhm. But
And why is everyone so young?
everyone looks? I think it's just the artist.
Everyone looks 24, younger than you.
Am I old?
Yeah,
I'm older than these fuckers.
you're late.
Superman
20s,
looks
dude.
really young. I think everybody else, I didn't really think about it that much.
Batman's young. Everyone's young. Don't say that.
Are you serious?
Everyone's young.
I don't know if I don't know if that's right.
Batman's got slicked back hair.
I do like the artist in this. I think he does really good, and Mike Spicer does pretty fucking awesome colors in this.
Yeah.
I will say I didn't even realize it was Mike Spicer, but we know him from tons of Dana Warren Johnson stuff,
Right.
and that makes a lot of sense because
Transformers.
everything's super vibrant. Yeah, Transformers. He knows how to color a big robot. So good on that guy.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of the robot designs, I'm like, I think we're trying a little bit too hard. And then
What on the redesigns or the initial designs?
I was thinking like initial designs. There was one redesign that I think is super silly. But
The Batman one?
no.
Really? Okay, we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
I don't know. I'm
So-
glad that they stand out from each other,
Yeah, they do.
and I didn't. The designs didn't really bother me.
They don't feel very big though, unfortunately. At least not to me.
Yeah, because it's big things fighting big things.
Yeah.
So it's like it just brings the scale.
There's not a lot of time where you see somebody on the street.
It just readjusts the scale, you know.
Yeah. I need like a banana for reference, like next to them at all times.
At all times.
Yeah.
They're always next to a building that has a banana sitting on the ledge.
Yep, exactly. That would help me a lot, I think.
6 issues was too many.
I agree, especially when two of the issues have the exact same premise where they just like someone goes ahead of the team, they fuck everything up, they have to be saved, and then they retreat. And it's like that happens twice.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
5 would have been perfect. 4 would have been better, you know.
I agree.
But you know, this one just kind of it was like
I think
I was forcing myself to finish it when
Yeah.
I wanted to read anything else.
I think he was trying to explore a lot of the origins of stuff in this universe.
that's the issue, that like when it's this other universe is that everyone has other
there's too many origins to really like dig into, and so he had to like pick and choose some from this like Justice League, and we didn't even see like a Green Lantern origin necessarily. I don't even want it.
Who gives a fuck? Yeah.
I guess he didn't want it either. But like, I don't know. It's interesting because he sets up things and it's like, oh, that's crazy that happened. I wonder if those two characters will interact later, and then they don't.
Yeah. I was kind of.
So I think there's
It feels a
too
little.
many, he's juggling too many balls in there, and then he doesn't necessarily catch them all for me.
It feels a little YA to me, or like
Yeah, that's a good
like
point.
younger audience, you know,
100%
which is probably who the audience is.
This is probably how a Power Rangers book kind of feels.
Yeah.
In spirit, which is not a bad thing.
Right. And so with starting out with like Dawn Runner, which is like
pretty peak big robot comics.
Right. Pretty like elite as far as, I don't know, our tastes, I guess, and what we want from this kind of story. This is just like a very distant comparison to that. You know?
Very different. But let's get into it.
Yeah.
So issue 1, it's like right after World War II. They're like still celebrating, I think. And and there's a big parademon that comes down. He has a big fight with the Justice Society. And even though they defeat the parademon, we discovered it was only a scout, and there's probably more to come. So that freaks everybody out. And there's this like giant mech industrial complex where all the heroes have a mech now. And so we jump to the present. Darkseid takes out Krypton. Kal-El's parents helped him escape on a mech, but they got killed, I think. Also trying to escape with him.
Oh, dude. Also, Big Barda and Orion, I think.
They're like
defending.
Pretty cool.
The Kryptonians.
Yeah.
In their mechs.
Yeah, they have mechs too. They were on the mech.
I was
wave.
like, fucking New Gods in this? This is crazy.
That was cool. I there's a lot of what would you call them? Like unknown characters.
I didn't expect the JSA in this either.
No, I didn't either, but they're cool. They got like Dr. Midnight and stuff like that in here.
Mm-hmm.
But so Darkseid takes out Krypton. Kal-El, his ship to go to Earth is basically just a mech. Kal-El crash lands on Earth at the same time more parademons show up, and like Batman and Flash are fighting them, and Batman's like, this alien just crash landed at the same time as other parademons, so he must be a bad guy. And that's like the cliffhanger.
So
I like
the parademons look kind of goofy.
I think these are like Silver Age parademons.
That's what I assumed, which I can appreciate.
Because like I don't think I've read any Silver Age New God stuff because it'd be really tough for me.
But that's like Jack Kirby, you know.
I would read the Jack Kirby stuff, but like, did he create parademons? I assume so.
I think all of the Fourth World stuff he might have created.
Yeah, so I think these are like Silver Age parademon inspired designs, which is fine. I don't understand.
That could work with like JSA being included, you know. So
I like this Batman mech design because it's kind of bold because it's like black and green, but for whatever reason it works for me.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, you'd think they'd do like a black or like a dark gray and blue if they were going to add some color in there, and I think that'd look cool too. But I like that they went with this. Although I don't like Batman's normal suit because he doesn't have eye holes.
Yeah, it's like
and I'm like, what is that? It's like a Batman Who Laughs thing almost.
It's kind of like because it becomes transparent at a certain point. So it's like it's almost like those like glasses that get dark when you're outside.
Oh yeah, I forgot what those are called.
Bifocals? Or
no, those are just you see.
I don't know, but yeah, I think it's almost like sunglasses that's around. It's like a dome.
Does he have eye holes sometimes?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it lightens up and
you
can like see through it at a certain point.
Gotcha.
But it doesn't seem that protective, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
What else
we do see like an anti-life engine in this, which I think is cool because I feel like Darkseid's always talking about anti-life stuff, and I never see it that much.
He's always yapping about the equation.
Yeah, he always talks about the equation, but then this one he's showing. We actually see like an anti-life engine, and I'm like, that thing looks fucked up and like pretty abstract, but I like that they're taking a stab at it, you know?
Yeah, it reminds me of something that was in All-Star Superman, that like Superman had like a pet, and it was like a sun eater or something, and it looked like that. It was like some black,
like a symbiote looking thing.
Yeah, a symbiote looking thing. But an aspect of this that I enjoyed was that there's like mechanical limitations to their mechs.
Yeah,
like the Flash one can only like boost like a couple times.
Yeah,
before it has to like recharge. You know,
he's got to oil it up,
right? Or like regain like the energy or whatever.
See, I think he uses the Speed Force to charge his suit, so I think he has powers.
And then I was thinking like, how could this like machine run so fast? But like, I think in the designs you can see that it has like wheels on him, so he's kind of like,
He's, like,
skating around.
I see. I like that.
Yeah, I'm like, that makes more sense for like momentum and shit.
I guess. Yeah.
Well, like if he's just like clank, 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 it'd be like a lot of damage, and then also it just seemed like it'd be hard to move that fast.
Yeah. True. It's funny that Superman's mech has like a face,
Yeah.
and then like everybody else has like helmet.
It also has
without
hair.
face. It does have hair as well.
I thought it was interesting that Clark is just showing up now
Yeah, because he hasn't
when he's
been
like
here.
23
Yeah,
or whatever.
he shows up and he's like, I gotta avenge Krypton.
Yeah. I like
So-
his like little his like suit.
His future foundation suit.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that too. He's got a good vibe. But issue 2. Oh, well, actually, real quick, these mech variants by Dan Mora, pretty sweet.
Oh, Dan Moore did those.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and he does like a breakdown of like how much the mechs weigh and the size comparisons and stuff like that.
Good
So it's
man.
pretty
This
cool.
guy's everywhere.
He is. I think this is when they were just figuring out Dan Mora is kind of the shit. So they're.
I think it's like 2020 or something like that.
I
book?
think it's a little bit later than that, but yeah, pretty much.
2022, my bad. So pretty recent actually.
Yeah. Issue 2, Kal-El fights Batman and the Flash mechs until Mech, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern show up to help, and they like stop him. Kal-El tells his whole story, and he joins the team because Darkseid sends Calabac and some parademons through a boom tube to take resources from Earth to help the main goal of just like building this big boom tube gate that Apocalypse can fit through pretty much. So Calabac gets stopped, but Superman is hurt, and then the team decides that they need to upgrade their suit before Darkseid shows up so they can be fully equipped. That's pretty much it. But we do see Green Lantern here.
He's got a transformer.
Green Lantern?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does have a transformer. But what I like about this is that there's 2 Green Lanterns in there. There's Hal Jordan and John Stewart.
Yeah.
And they Pacific Rim it, pretty much.
Are there 2 people in Pacific Rim?
I think so, isn't there? Isn't that the whole point?
Yeah, because they have to find like the right
don't
people.
they like hold hands the whole time or something? But
something like that.
But yeah, so the idea behind this one is that John Stewart is the only one with the ring, and Green Lantern just pilots because he's good at piloting.
Oh yeah.
But they do transform. I figured their mech was gonna be just like all hard light, but it's not.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting.
An aspect of their story is that John Stewart's like having like erectile dysfunction, but with his constructs.
I guess a little bit.
He can't
Yeah.
get it up.
No, he does. He
can't light it up.
He pitchforks Superman down, doesn't he?
Does he?
Or like he holds him down. with
Yeah.
pitch.
Okay.
But there is a
There's an aspect where like it
There's-
doesn't work until like the end. You know.
yeah, and I think that's super dumb.
That's what I imagine every Green Lantern book is. You know, he's
It's
just
like, oh, I
struggling.
can't will it hard enough.
Yeah. my I
It's a
can't
way-
get my will hard.
Yeah. You're not always entirely wrong.
There's this
About that.
one bit where Green Lantern's fighting Wonder Woman for some reason, and Wonder Woman like double like fists like smacks him down into like the moon or whatever.
Mhm.
And then the next panel is them just talking.
Yeah.
And I feel like this would feel like a car crash.
Yeah. It's like
Like
I
they're
gotta
not even
recover.
like buckled in.
They move
you know?
very fast. Like there's a joke that someone makes in this where they're shaking hands in the panel and they're like, okay, you can let go of my hand now. And I'm like, this is the first panel where I see them shaking hands. There's not even like a comedic beat in there
Right.
where you like see them
Where
holding
he's
hands,
holding
shaking
hand too
hands for
long.
like multiple panels.
Right.
So I think he tries to like shoehorn some comedy in here, which is cool, but like doesn't leave the timing for it, which I think is super important.
Yeah. So I guess the reason why Superman got there so late is because he like made some stops.
Yeah, he was helping other planets on his journey, I guess.
Right. You know, planets that like couldn't help themselves or whatever.
Maybe Kenny's trying to leave it open for a little prequel. Superman Adventures.
Perhaps. Where the fuck is the page I'm looking for?
We get the female Furies.
Yeah, dude, he's like on this planet, and they're like there's these little like Winnie the Pooh aliens.
No, I didn't even notice that actually.
Yeah.
I hope he helped him.
Yeah, he's fighting the bigger, bluer aliens.
I didn't even notice that they were Winnie the Pooh. That's so funny.
Yeah. And there's an aspect where like,
so he's had this mech for like 20 years, it seems like.
yeah, it's like what he like came in, it's like his rocket or whatever.
Yeah.
And when Calbec like hits Superman
Yeah.
in like the chest,
I don't know how
like
that
Superman
works.
himself starts bleeding.
Yeah.
And I was like, what, is he that connected or whatever? Because that was an aspect in Dawn Runner, wasn't it?
If your arm gets cut off, then your arm gets cut off in the thing.
Didn't it? No.
They like their minds are connected. I don't know if those Dawn Runners got fucked up, and
that's
people
true.
are fine.
Yeah, that was just kind of weird.
I didn't really know it though. I don't think it's like a suit connection. I figured just like some debris from the mech itself like hit him in the chest and created a gash.
Yeah, perhaps, or like the knife.
But
again,
like, that's one of the things. Like some of those detail. This is an important detail because like Lex Luthor uses that blood to make something out of it, but like it's not even like focused on very hard that this is like a plot point. It's just like you see it and you're like, holy shit, he's bleeding out of his chest,
right?
And I guess there's like a little bit of a focus problem because you don't know what the big story beats are necessarily,
right? Because like when that comes back later, I'm like, when did that happen?
Yeah, but like you see it, they slip it in at like literally the last issue and you can't even tell what he's doing.
Last page,
or
last issue,
last panel.
Oh, okay.
Like Lex Luthor's grabbing like a little sample of Kryptonian blood, but like you barely see the little device that he's using to sample some blood.
Yeah,
and he's not talking about
looks
doing
like eye
this.
drops.
Yeah, pretty much. But so I just think it's interesting because if I was reading this month to month, there's no shot I would have remembered that.
So Hawkwoman is in this, and she's kind of like the director of like the Watchtower or something.
Yeah,
and she was in the JSA, so she knows about the threats that are out there or whatever.
Yeah,
she's also Batman's godmother. That's something they just threw in there for some reason.
Yeah, that's cool. That's some lore that won't ever come back.
Yeah, it was a lot of the weird.
How would that have even happened? Like Thomas and Martha Wayne, how do they know? Fucking Hawkwoman.
Well, because in this universe, they're not like industrialists. They're like they like helped fund like
mechs,
yeah, mech technology and research.
See, that makes sense.
So maybe that's when all the heroes had mechs that they got intertwined.
Like, like, yo, can you give me a mech?
Yeah,
we don't even see a Hawkwoman mech.
I know, that'd be cool.
Big wings, I'm all about that.
Issue 3.
Yeah, issue 3. So the team stops parademons from getting some nth metal that they're trying to harvest. But Superman wasn't listening to the team, during this whole fight, so Batman gets pissed. Lex Luthor sends Steve Trevor and a fleet to attack a boom tube gate in space. And then Superman just like throws the whole space watchtower into the fight, and they all start fighting. And then Steve Trevor dies. Darkseid shoots his Omega Eye lasers through a boom tube, which hits Superman and crash lands in Smallville, where he's found by the Kents.
Is it shot through a boom tube? I thought it was just some sort of Omega cannon thing.
I think he shoots his lasers through a boom tube, and I'm like, is that canon? Can he do that?
It seemed like they just made his.
I think there's
the beams bigger.
I double checked, and I think he says some word like open a boom tube. I'm going to do some shit. Pretty much
weird. So Luthor sent Trevor on like a suicide mission. Like there's really no.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like a political response to these guys.
To like get funding or something, like some sort of contract.
He's got like the government contracts for mechs and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so like he's got to make sure these guys are up and running, when these threats arise.
Yeah.
But he had like no intention on them like surviving really, because
he's just like throwing them in there.
Yeah, it's like buying time or something.
Yeah. And like we didn't know that Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor were a thing up until this point, where they're like talking to each other and they're like saying that they love each other. And I'm like, okay, I guess this is supposed to be a big deal, but we didn't even know Steve Trevor existed in this universe, really. So just one of those things. I like that even the like Smallville farmers have like big mech suits.
Yeah,
they have like big mechs to do farming with, and I like that idea a lot.
That's smart.
And Superman is super unlikable this whole issue.
Yeah, he's super arrogant.
Yeah, he's arrogant. He jumps ahead, and then like when they're trying to strategize how to save this like fleet, he just throws everybody in.
He's just been so. He's built so much confidence fighting these like little guys and these little planets or whatever.
It does make sense.
But the end result and the reason for the mech was to eventually fight Darkseid.
Yeah.
And this is just kind of like the threat he hasn't faced yet. Did you see Superman's mouth in this?
Batman's? Yeah, it's pretty big.
I thought it was funny.
Pretty big mouth.
Yeah, so Steve Trevor dies.
Yep.
It sucks. Honestly, just used to him being dead.
Honestly, yeah. But again, another thing, like with the timing of this book, Steve Trevor dies, and then we see like a little note from like Wonder Woman, and then she's immediately back into the fight and just like fighting again. And it's like, maybe that would have been a more impactful scene if we have more than just like the smallest panel on this page dedicated to her reacting to that.
Yeah, I was even like a little confused about how he died because I wasn't sure what mech he was in. I guess he was in this little blue one or whatever.
Yeah, but it seems pretty small relative to the thing that killed him.
And then when he's like smashed by like a parademon or whatever, it's so smashed beyond like recognition that I didn't really know it was him that was dying.
They're like little pieces, like just like little scraps.
Because there's like a
it's not like a
turn
gets like fucking ripped in half. It's like
smashed, but then it just shatters.
Yeah. So I agree. It's hard to tell like what even happens. So
how did the parademons even get so big?
I think they were trying to say that they're like biomechs. So there's like
parademons are in the mechs, or no, they're just bigger.
They are mechs that are biological.
Okay.
I think that's the idea, but this one's definitely in a mech, so I don't really know when that applies or when it doesn't. I'm just now noticing that Wonder Woman's whip comes out of her wrist in this, or like not her whip, her lasso.
Okay,
that's kind of interesting.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's like retractable.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. Well, yeah,
I don't know if it'd really be that helpful of a
mech fighting weapon.
Yeah, it's really just to stay on brand.
What if she wants to make sure that the mech isn't lying to her?
I don't know if it does that. I don't think it's a lasso of truth.
I think it is.
It's just a lasso.
I think they use it on Bizarro.
We see him. Okay. Spoilers, Nathan.
Yeah, I guess. Issue 4, Superman lays low in Smallville with Jonathan and Martha Kent for a little bit. They raise him for like 6 weeks, and they're like, "You gotta be more patient. Be a good boy." And they help fix his mech because Martha knows how to make a Kryptonian engine for some reason.
She's a mechanical engineer in this universe.
Even though like him and Jonathan were like working, there was like their project car pretty much.
Yeah.
And then Martha's like, "Oh, I built this engine upstairs
without you guys knowing,
with Kryptonian technology
and possibly heavy parts
and a huge 3D printer that we have somewhere."
Yeah.
She said, "I 3D printed some parts for you," and I'm like, "That's not how that works currently." But anyway, we get origins for Wally West, Flash, and Batman. Batman's parents were killed because Lex Luthor sent out a fake alien invasion, but the things that he sent out killed Bruce's parents. Darkseid's almost ready to boom tube Apocalypse through the gate in space, and Lex Luthor makes a Bizarro biomech using recovered DNA from Superman. So here's the thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Batman's parents are killed. He knows it's Lex Luthor that did it, but these characters never interact in this book.
Yeah.
Which I think
it's just kind of a grudge that he always has. I thought that was an interesting kind of twist because I was like, why the fuck are we getting a Batman origin?
Yeah.
I think it's like one of the first origins.
Lex Luthor's a bad guy is what that tells me, essentially. But it never really amounts to anything.
So, the Waynes had like alarms for any kind of like giant threat or whatever. Yeah. But it was like a fake threat by Lex Luthor so that his mechs can stop him.
Yeah.
In order to get government contracts or whatever.
Which that's cool.
I think that was good.
Cool. Good idea. But you never see the Batman revenge arc, or you don't see Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor interact with, Bruce Wayne knowing this knowledge. It's just like kind of an interesting idea, but it doesn't really amount to anything, which is whatever, I guess.
And then we get a giant robo suplex.
Oh, I forgot about the suplex.
So you gotta give it some points.
Oh man, let me see it again. So this is Wonder Woman suplexing
something. It's in Star City, so is that?
It's an okay suplex. I think when I like to see a suplex drawn, I like to see how their head like hits the ground.
Yeah.
But this one they've kind of Looney Tunes it a bit.
Yeah, they just did it into a building.
Yeah, and they made the impact just like big explosion. So out of 10 suplexes, I'll give it a 4.
So Wally West has a different mech in this flashback.
Yeah.
And then Barry Allen has a mech.
Yep.
I think Barry Allen's mech is like way better than the one he has currently.
Let me look at it.
It's page.
Oh yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. You only see it for like a second.
Yeah.
Until he unalives himself.
He looks more aerodynamic.
Yeah.
For sure.
What else we got?
So there's a Darkseid does the villain thing where he hacks into all the TVs and he like says a speech.
Mm-hmm.
How does he hack into the screens?
Yeah.
Because he's still not even in Earth's atmosphere. So is he able to open a boom tube and hack like multimedia communications?
Maybe he's got like an apocalypse satellite.
He's gonna he must.
Or something that hacks their satellites and like infiltrates it or whatever.
That's gotta be what it is. I just think it's funny.
So how excited were you when you saw Bizarro? Scale of 1 to 10.
Dude, probably like 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
I'm like, okay.
Conceptually, I think like it's kind of fun.
It is a fun idea, but like we don't need another thing in this story, I think.
True. Very true.
Were you
Taking
excited?
that out. Because, yeah, just because it's like, oh, that's weird.
I was more interested in how they're going to make him dumb. Because he's a mech. You know what I mean?
Right.
Bizarro's supposed to be like kind of dumb.
Well, they also like rushed his production.
This is true. And I would have accepted that answer.
It's a cool design.
Yeah, I do. He looks more, he looks very Sentinel.
Right. Yeah, with the color scheme and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm thinking like how, because he's not really like Bizarro as we know him, you know?
No.
Like it's not like the opposite thing that he has. Where he's,
yeah, he doesn't like talk in opposite.
Yeah.
Does he?
He's really just,
he talks dumb, but
he talks dumb, but
I feel like they wouldn't.
It's not like he does the opposite of what people tell him though.
And yeah, that's true.
And so that's kind of a big part because that'd be cool if that was some sort of like flaw in his design.
Yeah, where like
because of the rushing, like he does the opposite of what Luthor says.
Yeah, one of the software engineers put a negative somewhere he wasn't supposed to.
Right, and then Justice League somehow words something to where he ends up saving the day.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea.
Right, and so that was what I was kind of expecting, and I was reading it looking for that, but it never came.
Okay.
But he's actually like alive.
Yeah, he is. He's one of the biomechs.
Yeah.
So then in issue 5, Green Lantern and Flash go on a secret suicide mission without the team to try and stop the boom tube ring from bringing in an apocalypse. It doesn't work. Hal Jordan dies, and John Stewart has to just lock in, and he takes full control of the Green Lantern mech. Bizarro goes crazy, and he kills all of like Luthor's people, and then he runs off. Darkseid gets Apocalypse through the planet boom tube, and the team retreats, and then they finally put together their upgraded nth metal mechs, and they're prepared for the final fight.
So what did Hal Jordan do?
I don't know, dude. Like, I think the concept is like, I'm a good pilot, so I'll pilot for you. You just focus on the constructs. But then he dies, and like John Stewart just gets better. But like they're better. He's a better mech.
I understand the motivation or whatever. Like he's being careful or whatever somehow.
He wants to protect Hal Jordan.
But what did Hal do to help the situation to where like his sacrifice was like meaningful?
I don't know.
Right.
This whole sequence where he's like
his like the mech's arm gets chopped off
because I think what he tried to do is some sort of heroic action. That's a sacrifice.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know how he pulled that off where he dies and John Stewart's fine.
Yeah.
Like that.
Because they're in the same little cockpit.
Dude, he's like a foot behind him.
Yeah.
So it's like
He's as far away from
how did he
him
die
as you are to me.
Yeah, 100%. And so like, how does, in this big mech fight in space, how does Hal Jordan die and Jon Stewart's just like, well, I guess I'll say the Lantern Oath and just lock in for a little bit.
Maybe
like, it's so dumb to
if
me.
he was like in the hand or something and the hand shot out,
right,
or something,
that'd be cool.
That'd make a little more sense. But
like, I think that's how the Power Rangers have it set up. Like, if Hal Jordan was like in the arm, or like if Jon Stewart was in the arm, that would kind of make sense too, because that's where the ring is. You know what I mean?
And there's enough to, something happens to where like his little patch comes off.
Yeah,
his little
his Hal Highball Jordan patch.
Is that a normal call sign for him?
Highball?
Yeah. It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a thing that people on Earth would call him when he was a pilot.
Yeah.
Or maybe they would call his dad that. Because his dad was a pilot. But yeah, so that part definitely confuses me. But then also, actually, what I think is a cool part of this mech is that the power battery that they use to like recharge the rings is like at the center of the mech suit. So I'm like, that's a fun idea. Even though it doesn't like, you don't see it, it doesn't really affect the story at all. But I'm like, that's kind of a fun idea.
Right.
But I just have a problem with the fact that he's better off this way, which is crazy to me. So it's like, why have two of them in the first place?
Yeah.
And then act like his sacrifice is so noble, like Steve Trevor's.
Right. There's a bit where Alfred is like the guy that's like designing and developing these
I have
things.
a problem with this too.
But real quick, so Ma Kent gives Superman like his little like suit that he wears, and it has like red and blue in it or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's like a world's ending event going on outside.
The apocalypse is in space.
Yeah, not very far.
Yeah.
But Superman's asking Alfred, like, can you throw some red in there in his design for his new suit?
Can you make a quick aesthetic change?
Yeah, I'm like, you're worried about paint jobs right now?
This is true.
They should all be blank as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But
okay, so the silly design for me is the Flash one, because he's got like a little unicorn lightning bolt horn.
Okay. Yeah.
I just think that that's really funny.
What's your favorite of the 5?
I think they kind of cooked with the Green Lantern one.
The Green Lantern idea is really cool.
It is cool, but I think probably the best one is Wonder Woman and the worst one is Batman, because what is going on there?
Yeah, because, okay, Wonder Woman is really sick. That's probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
It's got like the golden wings that we see at certain points.
Pretty cool. She's got a spear or whatever.
The Green Lantern one kind of reminds me of like Bird King.
Yeah.
With,
I think that's what I like about it.
Like the smoke is kind of holding them together somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Batman one, he's got all these like parts that look like
they're just like crystals or
they
something.
Look like they go on like TIE fighters.
Yeah.
Like
Kylo
Ren's TIE fighter where it's all like pointy, you know?
Oh yeah.
So he's got like 6 of those.
I
all
guess
around
that's supposed
him.
to be his cape.
It's like a mech cape kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have any like use or utility. And like when he's in battle, you don't see those.
So I recently have been like rewatching Avatar, and there's an episode where Aang has to like prove himself to the Earth Kingdom king, who ends up being Boomy, his like childhood friend. But in order to get him to like do these challenges, to get Aang to do these challenges, he like puts Katara and Sokka in like this little crystal thing that grows on them. And it looks exactly like this, because when it gets to the point where they like can't move anything, like it looks at this bulky. And that's kind of a deep cut reference, I guess. But that's just what it reminds me of. Like, it looks like he would just be like stuck.
If somehow it like they all propped up and became some sort of like helicopter spin thing.
If I saw that, that'd be sweet.
And that was an aspect, but it's just in there but never comes into play, which is kind of odd.
Yeah.
Superman just looks like Optimus.
Yeah, they went very Optimus with him, I think.
But
intentionally.
It's fine or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're called the Justice Squadron.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't get it. Here's the thing with Alfred. It's fine. Okay, I guess everybody would have had to been acclimated to become a mech engineer or something of some sort. But I think I probably would have liked it more if Alfred just stayed as like his typical like butler role, and then Lucius Fox was maybe the one.
10 times better.
Yeah, and like he was maybe the one running like Wayne Enterprises.
Or just have more people would be just better at this sort of thing. Like if it was like Mr. Terrific in there, you know, or like Adam.
That'd be neat.
Just those kind of guys.
Maybe some help.
They seem like they'd be on the watchtower working on this shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't think twice about it. But the fact that it's Alfred being like, yeah, I put your engine in there. And I mean,
I figured out your Kryptonian technology, you know.
like this universe, like timeline wise, it would make sense if Alfred grew up with mechs because they started making mechs in like the 40s.
I mean, perhaps.
But it's just like, I think it would have been kind of fun to have just like this super grounded character. And he's like, Batman, you got to stop flying in space with your mechs. You know what I mean?
There's this like
very
speech in the last page where Superman's like calling to all the heroes that are on Earth and just asking for a hand as far as like, I don't know, helping shit on Earth or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they include Katana, and we see Katana's mech.
Is that a mech?
I think
it probably is.
I think it is, and she's just got like a sword or whatever, and she's in Tokyo. I just thought that was such a random pull.
It is a random pull. I do appreciate that Green Arrow still uses a bow and arrow.
Yeah, big mech arrow.
As a big mech, which is fun. And I wish, I mean, Aquaman's looks pretty like fishy. I thought it was gonna be more submarine inspired.
He looks like a kaiju of some sort.
Yeah, he does. But I mean, I wish we saw more of just this, just like random appearances of different mechs. Because we see it like a little bit in the first issue, when we see like a Captain Cold mech and a Heat Wave mech,
right?
And I'm like, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
But then it's just like we only focus on these heroes, which I'm not asking for like more characters and plot lines and stuff.
Yeah.
This. But you know, seeing a Katana mech, I never thought I was going to see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, issue 6.
This is one of the coolest covers, I think.
This one?
No, one before that.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Isn't that fucking? That's
so cool.
Yeah, they throw that one like before the book starts, and I'm like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah,
and it's just this is like the spirit of like this book that I was looking for.
Yeah,
it's just super gnarly. It just looks really good. It looks almost like James Herron.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be James Herron because that seems like his level of intensity.
I think it's the.
Is it the artist on this?
I'll look it up, but
I think it has to be. But anyway, issue 6, the Justice Squadron goes to fight Apocalypse, the planet, with their new mechs. Bizarro shows up to throw them off. They end up fighting Bizarro. Apocalypse transforms into like a big Darkseid mech, which is like a huge hell yeah. And then Bizarro is convinced to like kill himself by flying into the anti-life engine source of this Apocalypse mech to like weaken it. And then Superman's in there already. He charges up one big solar punch to the engine, which destroys all of Apocalypse. And then they try to leave the door open for like a sequel, but it's pretty weak, so I don't think it'll happen. But that's pretty much the last issue.
There's fighting dialogue that
terrible.
It's tough.
Dude, it's so like even almost every fight there's just dialogue that I think was just tough to get through. And it made me forget what people normally say during a fight because I'm like, this is cringe to me, but I don't know what people normally say.
Is this the best thing? Is this what happens?
Are they all like this? Like I think this is what people think comics are.
So maybe. So the Wonder Woman mech, the new one,
yeah,
I guess had Hawk Girl had a hand in it because she's like, the melding of Thanagarian and Amazonian technology is astounding. And so I guess there's Thanagarian tech involved. I guess with the wings that can make sense.
Sure.
And I don't know, but just like that kind of phrase is one of the ones. It's the first thing.
It's like, you're going to bring this up now in the middle of our fight.
Yeah.
There's a couple instances of that for sure, where they're just like talking to each other and it's just like kind of pretty cliche. It's like, you only get one shot at this kind of deal or whatever.
Batman was uploading a Batmite virus.
That's awesome.
into the plant, into Apocalypse to fuck up the shields.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's a weird pull.
It's silly enough to be in this, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So Bizarro's in here, and he just looks like a big man because he's supposed to be this biomech.
Right.
But when we first see Bizarro, he looks like a mech. But in here, when they're trying to convince him to kill himself, pretty much, he's just like a big man.
Yeah,
like,
where did all his armor go?
I think that's the idea of a biomech. It's just an excuse to put a big person or a big thing in there.
Yeah.
But they're technically a mech. there's just like
big guy with armor.
The bio parts of it just kind of grew over the metal parts, I assume is the explanation. I just think it's weird. But definitely the coolest part of this book is the Unicron reveal, pretty much, that Apocalypse is its own mech that turns into a big Darkseid mech. I fuck with that heavy because it looks very cool.
Yeah, that is. At this point, I was like, what the fuck do they do? You know?
Yeah. You got to go for the source.
Then it just kind of turns into like Star Wars where they have to like,
yeah,
just find the spot to blow it all up.
Yeah. But yeah, then it ends.
Couple things. So Luther is in a big mech and he's just in that to run away.
Yeah, he gets found out. He like loses control. And then the control goes to like Hawk Woman.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He's got this like mech that just kind of looks like Mysterio.
Yeah, but he uses it to get away.
Yeah, it's a big dome. Darkseid like calls them like Terran.
Yeah.
Is that like what aliens call humans on Earth?
I hear that word a lot.
Because isn't that like what they do in Marvel?
I think it exists in other space things.
Okay.
I just couldn't tell you what it is.
I imagine it's just these two.
It could just be these two, but I didn't even notice that they called them that.
Luckily, you know, Darkseid blows up and there's only 2 pages of wrap up.
Dude, I know. I'm like, oh shit, we're done?
And then the last panel, or the pages of wrap up.
Oh my god, yeah.
is narration. But then it turns out that the narration was a article that was written by Lois Lane.
What? Like, who cares?
And the last page is Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen watching
and documenting this, I guess.
Yeah, watching.
What kind of fucking camera do you have, Jimmy Olsen? You're on Earth,
watching the Justice Squadron fly around.
What kind of 4 billion times zoom do you have on that?
We gotta zoom. You gotta zoom out because they're like flying over the building that they're on.
Yeah.
And why aren't they on the Daily Planet?
What do you mean?
Like yeah, you see like their silhouette.
Oh yeah,
and they're a couple blocks over from.
I'm like, that's not. You're not supposed to be up there.
Yeah, how'd you get that kind of access?
Yeah, when it ended with like, oh, the whole narration was Lois Lane. I'm like, why is this even?
Was there narration in the beginning?
No, this is the only time there's ever narration. Like the last 4 pages, there's narration. That's it. Yeah,
it was just like a last minute thing that they threw in there.
It's like, let's put a Lois Lane narration.
That was interesting.
Yeah, I like why. I don't know. I feel like we read a lot of just universe spanning type stories that are really good. You know, you get like an Injustice or like a Dark Ages or like something like that.
We haven't even read Dark Ages.
We've read it.
Yeah.
But not for the pod.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, examples like that, it's like those are really good and really fun, but for whatever reason this one doesn't
hit the same.
Yeah, I don't know why. And I just like, I mean, I kind of know why, but there are points where I don't know why it feels so different.
So I like found this.
I think it was good.
And I like the idea of it.
Yeah.
And there were some things that executed well, but it was mostly like the cover. And I'm like, oh, we should read this.
I think it was still the right choice for Big Mech Month or whatever we're doing.
Right.
Because it's like, it obviously slots right in there.
It's the big two.
I think it's a good example that just because you got Big Mech doesn't mean it's a good story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like this is kind of something that can like burn you when it comes to like comics. It's just like it was the normal artist who did the
it was
issue 6 cover. Yeah,
so good.
So it's like judging a book by its cover kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
let's get into
Back Matter Matters. Back Matter Matters.
Lots of covers. I mean, it's only covers. We got some cool ones.
And we get like designs too.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a couple. Oh yeah, you're right. But for covers, I mean, a lot of them are by this Ricardo Lopez person, Ortiz person, and he does some pretty cool stuff. Looks a little bit more manga inspired, maybe.
Yeah,
which is sweet. And then we get the DC Mech designs by Valdemar Rivas, and we just kind of see like a cleaner look of each of the characters, what their mechs look like. Apparently the Batman mech had a cloak. I don't know if we saw that.
Yeah, there's a fighting page where I saw that.
Oh, and then we get a good look at the Nth Metal designs. And we see the Batman one.
Oh yeah.
And he's got a bunch of shit around him. Doesn't look comfortable. But
it looks like he's swaddled.
It
The
does.
very metal swaddle.
Actually, I kind of like the Flash design a little bit better in this one. And like just the design stage, it looks a lot more clean.
Maybe if it was less up and more back,
yeah,
that could work well.
but I like the Spider-Man 2099 like forearm thing that
That's
comes
good.
up super high. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. So what would you rate this book, Daniel? What kind of big food?
Oh, okay. Big food. I had an idea, but
You can go with whatever.
you know that breakfast place in Vegas, like Hash House a Go Go,
Yeah.
where like the appeal is just a lot of food,
Yeah.
but it's like kind of bland.
Dude, it is. People
Like,
love that place.
People love it. It's kind of cool for like a hangover. They used to have a thing where you can order cereal and they just give you a box of cereal.
Really?
And, yeah. And I was hungover and wanted to get it there, but then they just like don't have that anymore.
Okay.
I'm like, what the fuck? Because like a big ass bowl of like Captain Crunch would really go hard. But yeah, I'd say that maybe like I remember getting like chicken fried steak and it was just like fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Which I feel like is hard to do. To make it fine.
I think fine is probably easier than good chicken fried steak.
Oh, okay.
You know? What do you think?
Well, you got me thinking about the cereal box. And I think this is like a big family size cereal box that says there's a little toy in the inside. And you're really excited to get into it, and then you just don't get a toy.
Or like the cereal's never that good when there's a toy included.
Yeah.
Like the toy is the reason to buy it.
Yeah, and you're like, oh.
It's never a good cereal, good toy.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It's one or the other.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I think this is.
Okay, that's valid.
Probably like a, I don't know.
It could be a DC cereal, but
Yeah.
it's just really like a bland, like fruity, or no, like Lucky Charm kind of thing.
Yeah, I think like a DC themed Lucky Charm, and it's like, get a Batman figure
Yeah.
or something. And that's why I bought it.
And the arms
But I
don't
do
even
like
move.
Lucky Charms.
For sure.
But yeah, that's what I give it. I mean, it's a DC mech book.
Yep. They gave us what they promised.
Yeah, they did.
It's just kind of like semantics, I guess, that we had issues with, or just things we'd change, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get into the pull list. Colon.
Shove it in your box.
The pull list, what did you shove in your box? So these are the books that come out June 4th. So we got Absolute Green Lantern, number 23. Oh, right now.
It'd be Absolute Green Lantern 3.
3, okay. I maybe right 2.
Or it's Green Lantern 23's.
I think that was last week, yeah. Absolute Superman, number 8. Are you going to keep getting that, or?
I'm on, what did I say?
I think you read 6.
I read 6, and then I think I haven't picked up 7 yet, but I might just buy it digitally and see how I like it.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Is the first 6 like the trade?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I think the 6th issue is like a epilogue feel type thing, but I did like it, and it kind of set up like the next trade, so I did want to check it out, at least the first issue of whatever the next arc is going to be.
And then Imperial, number 1.
What the hell is that again?
The John Hickman space thing?
Oh, the Marvel one.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know if I have the capacity for a Hickman. I'll flip through it.
Mental and financial?
Mental and financial, yeah. Because it's probably like $8.
Probably.
But we'll see. I think Nova is supposed to be a part of it, so if I flip through it or something, and
I mean, I can get it, and if I like it, I'll let you know.
Okay. I'll go with that then.
The Moon is Following Us, number 10.
Mm-hmm.
Last issue. You caught up on that?
No. I think the last one I read is like 4.
Okay. Resurrection Man, number 3.
Yes, sir.
You still got to get 2, right?
I still have to hunt down 2.
Marvel Knights, World to Come, number 1. That's that Joe Quesada thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see what that's about. And then Justice League versus Kong versus Godzilla.
Let's go.
Number 2. Number
the
1.
Sequel.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm definitely picking that one up. Can't miss it.
Yeah.
Very
What
nice.
did you read, Nathan?
I read Green Lantern 2021.
Nice.
So I'm not completely caught up on it yet, but I read
Practically
these 3 issues. And good stuff. I mean, it's definitely like an in-between arc. Like it doesn't have the main artist that's been on it. But it's still it was actually a really fun like little mini arc.
That's good.
Because they're trying to like, all the power batteries have been exploded, and so they're trying to like rebuild one of them because people are just randomly getting like big bursts of like rage or big bursts of like whatever, like the emotional spectrum is all out of whack. So they're trying to rebuild the power batteries to keep it in line, right?
So like, does every lantern have a power battery?
No, everybody that is a lantern is staying a lantern, but like because all of the big main power battery lanterns have like exploded, there would be just like some random dude on like an alien planet that gets super angry, and then he just like gets a random spurt of like red lantern energy.
Does he have a ring or no?
No, he has no ring. It's just like that energy isn't focused anywhere, and so it's just kind of going, it's kind of like the Terrigen mists a little bit.
Okay.
And so they're trying to like refocus that, right? So
gotcha.
So to rebuild the power battery, Kyle Rayner and like just two random DC characters, like one of them was a Legion character who's just like good at heists or whatever. They have to like do some Indiana Jones style like heisting to like go get the stuff to build a new power battery. And I think it's quite fun.
That's cool.
Even when they were going into like the source wall or something to get some material, he like lantern constructs like a Indiana Jones hat on as well to like get in there. I was like, this is fun. So pretty good. I also read Bloodborne, the trade.
Finish that? I
did finish it. It was like 3, 4, and 5, I think. I never played the games, but the vibes are very Souls-like Dark Souls or Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a story that I wasn't really expecting, but I don't know what I was expecting because I've never played the game. But it's basically just like this dude that's trying to guide this child to some place, but he's fighting a bunch of monsters that are really fucked up and weird. But it's pretty cool, so I like that.
Did it inspire you to like play the game?
No, because I think it's a PlayStation exclusive. I want to say, but I have been playing a lot of Elden Ring lately.
Nice.
So I think that's why I wanted to read that. And then I needed a new bed book, so I saw that a lot of Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run is on Comixology Unlimited, so I'm just kind of rereading that because I started pretty strong with it, and then I fell off, and then 20 issues passed by. So
yeah,
I'm just kind of rereading it. So I reread issue 1 of that.
Yeah, good issue,
and it's good. So good stuff. What did you read?
I read Battle Beast #1.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
how was that?
It's good. Not like the strongest start, but it's good to see like Ryan Atlee back at it and whatnot.
What's the timeline like?
So it's in between when he was in like Machine Head's office or whatever.
Okay.
In season 2 or whatever. And then when he like comes back, it's in between that and when he comes back onto that like Viltrum
ship as like a prisoner.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's just kind of filling that gap.
Nice.
I was never explored.
Did they explain that well, or do you just know that?
Yeah, they explain it though.
Okay.
They're not reusing panels, but they'll use panels that kind of explain where he's at.
Got it.
And he's just kind of on his normal bullshit, you know.
Cool.
And I read Superman Unlimited #1.
Nice.
I just read your issue.
Okay.
It's good. There is like kind of some decisions I didn't like agree with, but it doesn't make it like a bad book or anything.
Okay.
I don't really remember how it ended because I was like falling asleep when I was reading it.
Fair.
Not because it's a boring book, but just because
you're a father.
Yeah, lacking sleep. But it looks incredible. It's Raphael Albuquerque on art.
Oh, I love that dude.
And this, I'm trying to think of other stuff I've seen him on. It's just Batman, I think. Like, did he?
He has been on Batman.
Did he do the Elmer Fudd?
No, that's Lee Weeks.
Lee Weeks. Okay, so he did something.
You would
Batman.
know him on. He's done some Mark Miller stuff.
No.
He did American Vampire.
No, didn't he do like some Tom King Batman? Oh, I'm gonna look it up. I know he's done some fucking Batman.
He did Detective Comics Batman with Rom V.
That's later. Raphael.
Wasn't he one of the ones that did TMNT as well? New run?
Yeah, he did an issue, and I think I really liked his issue. I guess he did All-Star Batman.
Yeah.
But the later issues.
Yeah.
So not the ones that I would have read.
Yeah, you read
it is showing him on New 52 Batman.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then also Rebirth Batman. So I think that's how I know him.
Okay.
but it seems like this might be like his best artwork.
Really?
It just like it just fits really well for what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so he just draws like a real good Superman.
I could see him doing like a hopeful, stoic kind of vibe.
Yeah, he does that well.
Cool.
So got that to look forward to. So I was looking into the Punisher, and in every collection of Punisher Max, they'll start with Punisher Born, which is a like war comic, and it's the Punisher in his last tour in Vietnam.
Oh, it's another Vietnam one.
Yeah, it's another Vietnam.
I guess that makes sense.
It's the only war he's been in, because it's right on par with Platoon as far as like quality, I think.
So you read it?
Yeah. It's 4 issues, so I read that.
Nice.
It's got these really cool covers. You might have seen them before. Looks like that.
I don't think I have.
No? Yeah, they're really cool covers.
Yeah, it's sweet.
They like all look like that. They're all like
so you said it's on par with Platoon?
Yeah. And so this is Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson.
Oh, nice.
And it's pretty cool.
Nice.
I liked it a lot. It was like a one sitting kind of thing. So I read that. I'll probably, make my way through Punisher Max once I'll read like a couple issues in my pull box and like read some of those on the go and whatnot. So that was cool.
Sweet.
It's definitely heavier than Platoon. Because was Platoon like under Max, or is it just kind of normal?
I think it technically was a Max.
Okay. But yes, similar vibes.
It was a Max for sure.
It definitely helps you like kind of understand the psychology of like Frank Castle, and so it's kind of it's weird. I was reading it, I'm like, this is very similar to Platoon, so I'm just wondering like why
would Garth Ennis do both?
Yeah, but I guess he's like kind of the guy for the job,
Yeah. I would agree.
Then I read Remote Space 1 through 4. That is that Cliff Rathbun book that he like wrote and drew. It kind of starts off with like this huge like expo dump on like what this world is and everything, because it's like a sci-fi thing.
Sure.
But there's like plenty of action, which is good. Like not like dense or anything. Like once you get through the beginning bit, then it like starts getting like really fun. It's a little convoluted to where like I don't even know if I could really explain the concept to you.
Okay.
It's just really like it's like the future, and like humans are either dependent on like robot technology or this like bioorganic mutation technology thing, and there's kind of like 2 camps of that, and then there's like kind of this like Earth is barely like a thing. Like there's like some people on Earth still, but that have the bio like mutation, and then there's people like in space that have like that are more like the government, I guess, that have like the tech and whatnot.
Okay.
And there's like leaders of both, and they kind of have issues with each other, and there's kind of like a little bit like a war kind of thing. But there's also like little characters. Like there's like a person that's like mostly human, which is kind of rare, and then someone that's just kind of under like the tech warlord or whatever.
Okay.
That are just kind of doing the bidding and whatnot. It looks great. Like the designs are insane. Cool. Just kind of how people look. The characters kind of look too similar to where I wasn't sure like who I was looking at when I was like reading dialogue. So I kind of flipped through for that. But overall, pretty solid.
Cool.
I don't know if it's this Cliff Rathbun's like first writing venture, but it was pretty good.
Nice.
I bought like the first issue, and then I just bought the rest of them.
Yeah, I remember being pretty curious about it.
Yeah. I went to Azia.
Oh, nice.
I was looking for. I was being kind of weird. I remember seeing some stuff there like the last time I went, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's still there.
Was it?
No, it was not.
Oh, okay.
But I just went and looked anyway. But I picked up this one book that it's Sergeant Rock by Brian Azzarello.
Oh, cool.
And one of the Kuberts.
Adam?
Joe.
Oh,
Joe Kubert.
he's an older dude.
It's called Between a Hell and a Hard Place. This is just like a Vertigo like miniseries that they had.
That's pretty sweet.
I was looking into this when I was looking for like war comics for us, but it's like out of print and not available digitally. So when I saw it, I was like, ooh. And it was in like the sale pile of Zia stuff.
Dude,
so
this looks so cool.
So it was like $10. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
You read it all?
No. It was just cool that I found it.
Yeah. But yeah, this looks great.
Yeah, so we won't be able to do like an ep on it or anything if we ever happen to go back to war comics, but
right.
I was pretty excited.
Is this Vietnam as well? You know?
I don't know. I guess it could be like any.
No, those are Nazis.
Oh, okay. Even better.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think World War II comics are cooler.
Those are German weapons. So yeah, I would.
But there's a lot of Vietnam stuff, at least with Punisher and whatnot.
Yeah, I think just comics were bigger around Vietnam War.
Yeah. Anyway, I got that.
That's pretty sweet. That's a good find. I didn't even know that existed.
And then I got a cool back issue.
Okay.
Not from Zia, it's from Ash, but it is Batman #1.
Whoa, New 52?
From the New 52.
How much is that?
$18.
What?
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. I was worried it was going to be like a lot. The spine's like a little.
I would have expected like at least like $40 or something, but.
Yeah, I know. I like messaged him when he like, because he'll post like new back issues that he gets. And he threw that. I'm like, how much is this? But I end up going the next day and it's available. You know,
sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna bend it.
So that's pretty cool.
That is sweet. I've only seen this behind like a glass case.
Yeah, I know.
Damn, $2.99 at the time.
The
Those were the days.
Every time they did a reboot, it just do.
Dude, is Jonathan Glapian like drawing something now? Have you seen that?
I think he is. Is he going to Comic-Con?
I think he lives here. He's always.
Oh, does he? Cool.
I think he's always at Phoenix.
I don't know about always, but I'm sure he is.
Pretty much always. I've talked to him a couple times, but
I don't think he's inking anything Capullo's doing.
I don't think so, but I think I remember looking at the Phoenix Comic-Con thing, and it showed something that I wasn't familiar with, and I think he's like drawing it now. So anyway, it just reminded me of that.
Hold on a sec. Yeah, so he's not inking. He didn't ink Wolverine Revenge.
No, I think if he's gonna ink something, there has to be like pretty good money for it.
Probably.
I think he's drawing his own things now.
He's doing like variants
that he's drawing.
Yeah.
Cool.
So like Gunslinger Spawn and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So
that makes sense.
That's cool. What did you watch?
I watched Companion.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. We just like threw something on. I wanted to fall asleep, and then I did actually kind of towards the end. So I missed a little bit of it, but pretty good.
Yeah, that is kind of fun.
I knew like what it was, and then I'm just like waiting for that like twist of that I already know is about to happen where the girl's a robot or whatever, and then there's more twists later on, and I'm like, oh, I didn't expect this actually. So that's cool. Like there's another robot in there, and you don't expect him to be.
You know, I don't think I knew necessarily like for sure that she was like a robot.
Yeah.
But I was like, I think she is.
It seemed,
but I didn't bring it up.
I think in the trailers she like turns off at some point, like kind of.
Oh, really?
But yeah. Jack Quaid's in it. He's very believable. He's a big douchebag.
He's quaiding around.
It's so crazy that he's a good Superman voice actor and the biggest douchebag in this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's got some solid range, which I appreciate about him.
I always appreciate seeing him and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you see him in Logan Lucky?
Yeah. It's so funny.
He's just like, he's like a redneck.
It's like a jump scare. He's funny in that movie too, because they're like, we need a reason to be able to do something.
Yeah.
And they give like just like the worst reason. They're like, is that enough? And this, yeah. I mean, the like 1,000-foot view idea of this movie is not very like creative, but then the way that they executed it, I think makes it worth it like existing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Definitely.
They get pretty creative with it. And again, I was trying to fall asleep, so I fell asleep a little bit at the end, but saw pretty much everything. So pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
It was fine. And then I played the new season of like Helldivers 2, which is a game that I played before, but they created like a new level where it's like on Super Earth is what it's called, but it's just Earth, where there's like these zombified things that are invading different parts of Earth, and you have to go save it. And I just bring it up because it's like super cinematic and like grim, and there's these like crazy alien ships that shoot at you or like will carpet bomb you, and you're just kind of like in the middle of a big city. And it's kind of cool because it felt like Starship Troopers before, and this is almost like a Battle Los Angeles type feel almost. So it's pretty sweet.
Are they having like cutscenes in this, or
no?
It's just
there's not really like a story.
Cinematic. Okay,
but it's the game's interesting because it's like a massive player base that is kind of just fighting the devs of the game in a way. Like there's like Terminator type enemies that you can go and fight, or there's alien like spider type aliens that you can go and fight, or there's like a third one, and you can choose which ones you go to fight. But if the entire player base just decides that they're fighting a little bit more of the Terminator type things, then the alien ones will start to like win the war, and the entire like Helldivers player base will have to like go and support troops or whatever over in the alien side. So it's kind of interesting. And so the devs will put these events together where basically the entire player base has to like do their part in the war pretty much and do those missions.
So is it kind of like Grand Theft Auto where you just kind of like jump in?
No, it's not a free roam type game. You just, there's like specific missions and you drop into like a map that's pretty much like a circle. And I think those landscapes are procedurally generated, so that it's not like the same thing every time.
Huh.
And or maybe they are set levels, but they're just a lot of them, and it's pretty convincing. But
they haven't like replayed a map necessarily.
I don't think so. Like the vibes of the map are the same, where it's like you're dropping into a big city, but I think they might be procedurally generated because I don't know if they're all the same.
So there's like a snow map or anything.
There might be a snow one.
Okay.
But it's just like the game is so good and the mechanics of it are so fun. And I've never played a game where there's like not a necessarily implicit goal, but they're really good at like they're really good at when you level up, you can get cool like mechs or like a car or like different weapons that are supposed to be taking down like cool ships easier or whatever. And there's one of the alien ships that like drops in troops. It looks like that Chitauri ship in the Avengers one that looks like a big whale. It's kind of like that, but you can shoot it down and it'll hit like big skyscraper buildings and make them like the buildings are destructible. So it's really cool.
Just you have to like buy season 2 or something?
No.
Since you bought the game, you
bought the game, you can play all the content that they give out, but they do have like aesthetic packs that just come out. They're like $5 or $10 packs, and if you want to look more like a chemical agent type aesthetic, then you can do that. Or if you want to look more deserty or more white or more, what you can buy those.
So you bought the more white one?
I bought the more white one. No, my guy's actually like super bulky. He looks, and it's very funny because I think it affects my stamina somehow because I'm always like running like really far behind the rest of my group.
So it's very realistic.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're constantly out of breath and you're the slowest one.
I've actually had to equip like a jetpack that lets you like make big jumps so that I can just like catch up because I like the look of the big guy. You know what I mean?
You got the weird wheelchair equivalent of
pretty much like the
attachments.
Walmart fucking
scooter.
The Walmart scooter equivalent. Yeah. Helps me get around.
Yeah.
I'm a big boy.
You're in the aisles and you stand up to grab something.
That's pretty much what it is.
Like, what?
But yeah, it's fun. That game's so good. And like, I don't know why. I mean, it just feels, I'll show you some TikToks that I've liked just recently getting back into it.
Mm.
But it's just like, the whole situation feels like so cinematic, but stressful.
Did you like start playing it when it dropped, like season 2? Or
no, I just like saw a random TikTok about it and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Because it looks like an entire zombie apocalypse or something in New York. And then there's also aliens that are like shooting at you and stuff. And it's like the level set at night, so explosions are more vibrant and like it's more eerie when there's those like swimming ships kind of floating in the air. So I was like, I gotta check this out. So I've been playing it with Ben a little bit.
For sure.
What would you watch?
Lots of stuff. Been catching up. I finished a lot of stuff that started. So I finished Daredevil Born Again.
Nice. I also finished that.
Great show. I love it.
I love it?
I love Daredevil. Like the show I just love.
Where was you ranked this season?
Probably like the weakest of the seasons, but still fits.
Okay.
And
I would agree with that.
And I don't know, when there's just like a little nugget of corruption, I'm like, oh my god, what are they gonna do? I'm just like, fuck yeah. It's just like, it just adds to like the villainy or whatever.
I think it's remarkable that this is coherent at all, because it seems like there's a lot of rewrites and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think it's good for what they
it scratched the itch of
for sure
the Daredevil show that's been gone for so long. So
yeah, and spoilers, I guess, but when he like jumps in front of the bullet to save Kingpin, I'm like, that's some good Daredevil shit.
Yeah,
he could have just been like, oh, I didn't see it or whatever, but
could have been over. I finished Penguin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Upsetting, huh?
yeah. I mean, the way that was like spoiled, not explicitly, but I knew that there was a thing that happened. I think you spoiled it for me, but it's something you could kind of see coming.
I didn't.
I think just finishing the show was more enjoyable than just watching the rest of it,
Really?
Like, I think like the first 3 episodes that I watched before finishing it was like all of that story that I really needed, I guess. The rest of it I was just to see the end.
I really enjoyed it.
Maybe
in its entirety.
Maybe I like there's too much of a gap, but I was just,
I'm sure that doesn't help. But like, I enjoyed that season of Penguin way more than this season of Daredevil.
No fucking way, in my opinion.
In my opinion, you're way off.
But yeah, like it's like a fine show. They killed Clancy Brown. Don't like that.
The way that he died does kind of suck.
And Penguin, he's just so evil. He killed his brothers when he was a little boy or whatever because he loved his big old mama's boy. And I'm like, this is fucking stupid. That, in my opinion. But anyway, I finished X-Men 97.
Oh,
incredible.
Oh my god, I'm so glad you think it's incredible. I was about to
I keep thinking about it. There's so much just good stuff in there.
I know.
I didn't care for the last bad guy or whatever.
I don't even remember who it was.
Bastion or something? I don't know. Is Rogue Superman? That's new to me. She can like fly around and like
she can
throw shit and pick up heavy stuff. I think she throws a tank or something. But I
know she could always fly. I didn't know how strong she was.
She can fuck shit up.
Yeah, she's pretty strong.
And that was just new to me.
She's also angry that Gambit is not around.
Yeah, her sugar.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a spectacular episode.
Oh, the Gambit one?
I don't even know if I'll rewatch the season. I'll probably just rewatch that episode.
It's so good.
Dude, that episode where Xavier is like in space and is just like talking to new gods or whatever, like the Marvel new gods.
Isn't that incredible?
Like, these guys are crazy.
I'm like, dude, this is such good X-Men
I have
shit.
no fucking idea what any of these people are.
Yeah.
And there's some dude named Gladiator. He's just Superman.
Oh yeah, Gladiator's sick.
And
I love Gladiator.
And then that he gets stronger, like the more confident he is. So if you just kind of like be a little mean to him,
it's just Green Lantern, if you think about it.
Essentially. So I'm really interested in all that jazz.
Yeah. Magneto's so sick in this.
Yeah, he's cool. There's a bit where like he's having this like psychological argument with Xavier in like the last episode.
I remember that.
But they're really just in a room going like,
that's good X-Men stuff though. That's X-Men content.
It's just funny.
Yeah.
But every time Xavier tries to save the day, he's gonna wipe his memory or some shit. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why? And I don't know. Cable's awesome.
Dude, yeah.
This is like definitely
I forgot about Cable
super
too.
Cool. Man, I guess Bishop's first name is Lucas. That's pretty cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, his name's just Lucas Bishop. I'm like, you're just going by your last name as your X-Men name? That's interesting.
Dude, your kid's name Lucas.
I know, as I'm saying. Like, you named after a black X-Men.
One of the coolest.
Yeah, he's the only one with the white name. Finished Last of Us?
I have not yet. Wait, is it done?
Yeah, there's only 7 episodes.
Oh shit. Okay, I'm just 1 episode away then.
Yep. This season was fine.
That seems to be the consensus.
It just happens to. It just is on, and I'll watch it.
Yeah. I've been enjoying it. Definitely way more than most people that I've seen like online talk about it.
Yeah, same. I like watching it, but it doesn't seem like there's that much.
There's a lot of hate for it.
Of course.
Which, I never really played the game. I'm just kind of taking it at face value.
Yeah.
So I've been enjoying it. I think it has gotten less strong with each episode, but it's still pretty strong in my head. So
yeah. I just felt like the first season was so like monumental.
It really is.
And so it was just kind of
to follow that up is near impossible. I think
but there's also like the source material that you have to follow.
I still think about that Nick Offerman episode.
Yeah. Now, we watched 4 seasons of a show called Hacks.
Whoa.
Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So it's like a half-hour show on HBO. It was all over like the Emmys, and so we're like, what is that? And it's like about this like comedian that has like this residency in Vegas. Janine Smart plays her.
Okay.
And she's like I don't even know what you compare it to. Just like a comedy like legend, but she's kind of stuck in like her tired material that only really appeals to like old people from Florida or whatever.
Do you see parts of her like comedy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it reminds me a lot of like Funny People.
Okay.
Because she gets this new writer from like Hollywood, but she's like been canceled. She thinks she's been canceled because of a tweet, but really she's just an asshole and no one wants to work with her.
Fair.
But they like, work on like new material and shit. And it's pretty funny. Overall, it's funny, but like not every episode is like funny, It's like a comedy series.
Sure.
It's got like one of the creators of like Broad City.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so that's pretty good. I like it a lot overall. And like the last episode of season 4 comes out like tomorrow. And so we caught up to like that point.
Oh, wow. You caught up.
Yeah. Which is also like the last episode of the season. So yeah, we're just kind of blowing through that.
Pretty sweet.
We watched Fall Guy.
Oh, how is that?
That's pretty good.
Nice. Worth the watch?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched it high, which I recommend.
Cool.
There's a part where he like takes drugs and he's in like he gets drugged in a club, but it's like a fun drug. And he's like is fighting people in the club, but it's like a Scott Pilgrim-esque fight. There's like sound effects and like whooshes and stuff, and I thought it was fun.
Nice.
I fell asleep like the last half hour.
Okay.
And I like rewatched last half hour the next day, but like my opinion didn't really change in the movie,
Cool.
But it's pretty good. It's
How'd you compare it to like The Nice Guys?
Nice
Sophie
Guys
really
is
likes that movie.
infinitely better.
Okay.
Nice Guys is like
so underrated.
What could have been kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was just under the radar. I saw it way too late, and
me too.
A sequel never be made, and that's like a sequel that I will always yearn for.
Okay.
Your
thoughts sum up mine exactly.
Right.
Okay.
It's just a movie about making a movie.
Yeah.
And so
I enjoy that concept though.
I watched a movie called Coherence. It's like a super low budget, like $50,000 budget. And it's filmed in like 5 days apparently. And it's like these people at like a dinner party, but all the lights go out in the neighborhood. But there's a house down the street that has lights. And 2 people go and look at the house. But the people in that house are all the people in the dinner party. And they come back like,
We're over there.
We're over there, yeah. And it's just like them figuring out what the fuck's going on.
That's cool. I like that.
And it's like brisk. It's like an hour and a half. It's on like Peacock, I think. Rena recommended it, or she like found it and we watched it. It's pretty good. I watched Superman from 1978.
Is that the Reeves one?
Yeah.
Cool.
First Reeves one. There's a 6-minute opening credits.
Whoa.
Which was infuriating.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the movie was made before you were allowed to do credits at the end.
Yeah. A couple things. I guess Superman has like a little crystal. It's green. I'm like, is that kryptonite?
Like, dude, you gotta get away from that.
But he just like throws it in like a winter area, and then the Fortress of Solitude gets made.
I remember seeing something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that was new to me. They have like, in the papers, they have a very close-up shot of Superman. I'm like, how the fuck would they not pinpoint that it's Clark Kent, And that was just kind of crazy to me.
He's got glasses on.
Yeah, and he hunches over. A really funny part of this was that there's like a montage of Superman doing nice things or whatever.
Okay.
He saves a cat from a tree.
Of course. You gotta.
He gives the cat to the little girl. Little girl goes inside. And it's like, Mommy, a flying man saved the cat from the tree. And then like the mom's like, didn't I tell you not to lie? And then you hear
Oh my gosh!
And I'm like, what?
Superman, get in there! That's crazy.
I know. I'm like, it's on the time.
It could have been anything. It could have been the cat like hitting the floor.
It was just this little thing that they just brush past.
It was probably a sweet joke. When it came out.
Yeah, but I'm like, that's domestic violence.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, Superman heard it too. He's got super hearing.
Yeah. There's a bit where Superman's got to go save the day, and he starts flying, and he just phases into his Superman suit. It goes from his like work suit, he like spins around, and then Superman suit.
Cool.
Whatever.
I love how wacky it is.
Yeah. And then
is this the one where he takes off the logo and he throws it at somebody and it like wraps around him?
No, that's one of the later ones. I'm looking. I'll watch I kind of want to watch the rest of them.
Okay.
It's like a good movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of if you have 2.5 hours to watch this, then go for it. And if you want to wait an hour and 40 minutes before you see Superman, then
I got the movie.
Go for it. Yeah, yeah.
Is it really that long?
It's pretty long. And I guess Lex Luthor is in all the movies because he doesn't stop Lex Luthor in this movie. You know, he just kind of saves Lois and that's it.
Who's it played by again?
Gene Hackman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all I had to say about that. Pretty good.
Nice.
Definitely of the time, but they get like the hometown kind of stuff, like the Smallville stuff down really well. And there's a lot of like Krypton stuff, which is just kind of weird, but like it's kind of cool. What's that dude? Marlon Brando. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
The guy who's like in like Godfather.
Yeah.
So he's Jor-El. And
he's like, you come to me. You want to fuck with my family?
He calls the planet Krypton.
That sucks.
And he calls his son Kal-El.
Ooh, I hate that more.
And yeah, this is it's just
that's funny.
It's funny. And I guess he is like the highest paid actor at that point and gets like $10 million for like this couple minutes that he's in the movie. Right. In 1978, yeah. Because this is after.
Damn. This is after Godfather?
Yeah.
Damn. Do you know who Ralph Macchio is?
Yeah, Karate Kid?
Yeah. So Sophie texted me asking me who that is, and I just thought it was another instance of like Sophie not knowing just like random actor that typically everybody knows.
Uh-huh.
And I figured it was like, oh, Ralph Macchio must be going to Phoenix Fan Fusion because she's been like texting me random updates on that.
But it's like the writer.
It's like the writer. And I didn't know there was a Ralph. It's spelled the exact same way, like Ralph Macchio. No, and it's like a comics writer.
I've seen his books around.
I didn't know that there was a second one. The second Ralph Macchio.
You're going to go up to him with a DVD?
I'm like, dude, I love you.
You look so different.
That fucking blew my mind because I'm like, you don't know who the Karate Kid is? And she's like, no, it's a comics writer. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, he does like Marvel stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I think we've like had news where like he's doing like a new series
probably
on some stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. That was just something that happened this week. That was funny.
I watched 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. Have you ever watched any of those?
No.
Zombie movies?
No. I think I might have watched it at like Nana's house once.
I remember being at Nana's house and I think she put on like Night of the Living Dead or something. It was like black and white.
Cool.
And there was like a jail scene where someone's like trapped in like a cell, but like zombies are in there. So they're reaching through the bars and they're just ripping like the stomach open.
Dude, she could have fucked us up mentally.
They did. I still think about that. And I remember
this is why you are.
And Nana thought that just watching it and not thinking there's an issue.
That's crazy.
Because that was the first kind of like gore I saw. I'm pretty sure I was way too young to watch that.
Was I there?
I think you were, or maybe it was Brandon. I'm not sure.
I must have been too young if I was.
I'm glad that didn't traumatize you.
No. The trauma I experienced was watching Cloverfield in theaters when I was like 9.
Oh yeah, good movie.
It is. I want to rewatch it.
You like left to go to the bathroom and then you just stayed in the bathroom for a little bit.
I did. It was after that one lady went behind like the curtain and we see her explode.
Huh? Is
that they're like in a subway and there's a woman in there and she like has something coming out of her stomach or something and she's like going to the medical bay, but you still see like her silhouette behind this like curtain.
Oh.
And then it like pops out of her and you just see blood everywhere. And that freaked me out. And I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom actually.
But yeah, I guess there's scientists that are like experimenting with a rage virus on monkeys, but there's like animal activists that are trying to free the monkeys. And you know, those
always get in the way of everything.
And they like and that's how it spreads. It starts off with Cillian Murphy waking up in a hospital.
Is he the main character?
Yeah.
Cool.
28 days later after the outbreak. I think this is the first movie where there's like fast zombies, like where they run.
Yeah.
And which I didn't know. It was pretty interesting.
It's a fun fact.
Yeah.
But they are zombies.
They're infected.
Okay.
So
they don't call them zombies, but they are zombies, or it's like they're kind of vaguely
I don't know if
zombies.
they call it anything. They're like, it's a zombie movie.
Okay.
But no one's like rising from the grave or anything.
Got it. Okay.
And like people get like shot in the head and they like stay dead. You know what I mean?
Okay, good.
Like if blood gets in your mouth, you'll become infected. And you have like 10 seconds. Like
really?
It's very fast.
Dang.
Cillian Murphy goes to his parents' house. They ended it on their own terms.
That's good.
And they just stay at the house and he lights a candle or whatever. I guess zombies are attracted to light because they come smashing through the back door when they see this candle lit.
Okay.
And there's like a couple interesting aspects, like zombies will like give up if like you get too far ahead or whatever. And they can actually like die from starvation.
Interesting.
Yeah. A part that I thought was a little unbelievable is that they find like an untouched grocery store. Zombies, totally believable, but this untouched grocery store, like all the snacks,
that would have been taken.
Yeah, come on.
People love their goldfish.
But yeah, pretty good.
That was 28 days later.
Yeah. Then 28 weeks later, like bigger scale, bigger budget. It's all set in London. And the American military has London quarantined or whatever. And have like 15,000 people within this thing, of this quarantine zone. Like action wise, it's like a little bit more exciting. But like,
is the whole pandemic contained to that little area?
Yeah, apparently it's like only in the UK.
Got it.
The rest of the world's like fine, I guess.
Weird.
This one has like Jeremy Renner, Rose Byrne, Idris Elba.
Whoa.
Yeah, a couple people in it. But it's not like the same director or writer or anything. It's just like franchise. It's just in name only, really. And then I guess some of the aspects of it. What was cool is that they like gas the city, like the military, when there's like an outbreak, and I guess that can kill zombies too. I'm like, which I haven't seen. I don't think.
Does it kill people?
No,
that's convenient.
But they send people walking around just lighting anything on fire that moves, so they kill like some people, you know. But anyway, I just wanted to watch those because 20 years later, it's coming out soon.
Is it the third movie?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not 28 months.
But this is back. Yeah, they never did the month one.
What the hell?
I know. But this is like 28 years later is like the director and writer of the first one.
Oh.
So I don't even know if they're going to acknowledge like the middle one. But also,
there's a comic of that shit, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Whoa.
So this is out of print and not available digitally.
You're such a little slut for out of print stuff.
You think I'm a slut? But this is drawn by Declan Shalvey.
What?
Yeah, 28 days later, London Calling. This is like a direct sequel to 28 Days Later, which is cool. There's actually like an omnibus of it, but that's like super expensive. But the normal like trades you can get.
Oh, when did this come out? This is early Shalvey, I think.
Long time ago, I think.
Is this pre Moon Knight Shalvey? It looks like it.
Probably. It might say somewhere when it came out, but
yeah. Cool. I didn't.
Yeah, so I wanted to read that.
Why is it out of print? I didn't even know that.
Maybe it's a rights thing or whatever.
This is pre Moon Knight Shalvey, just based off of the creator bio thing.
Oh, he didn't say Moon Knight.
It's like he got his first published work for Hero Killers in 2007.
Yeah, so it's probably not far behind.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna read that.
That'll be neat.
Be real prepared for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could probably watch 28 Years Later without any of this, but I just kind of always heard about 20 Days Later.
Yeah, I assume you would because it's been a pretty big gap, isn't it? Since Weeks Later.
Yeah, I'm not even like seeing movies right now, but I'm like preparing. You know?
Yeah, I know you are.
Anyway, Nathan, enough of my yapping.
Yeah, quit yapping.
I know.
Quit consuming media.
That's all I do. I feed a baby and consume media. That's my life.
That's kind of sick though.
I watch shit in the middle of the night and burn through shows and whatnot.
Parenting shit doesn't seem so bad.
Yeah, like these movies, I like start in the middle of the night, and then when he's done, pause it, go to bed.
Yeah.
You know, so. Nathan, what are we going to read next week? What are we going to read next week?
Another big mech book.
So.
What happened?
I don't know if I can do another big 2 mech book.
Okay, that's fine.
Is
there even a Marvel one?
There's Avengers Mech Strike.
Whoa.
Which sounds fucking awful.
What are you talking about?
It sounds like DC Mech, but worse.
It could be. I've never heard of it.
It just seems like another like childish book.
That sounds like a mobile game.
That's what I'm saying. It might as well be.
That's so funny.
That was the only thing I could find.
That's fun. We don't have to do that.
Okay. So I know we talked about Giant Robot Hellboy, but there isn't a trade yet.
There's not?
No.
Oh, what have we been doing this whole month?
I don't know, dude.
I think we just read it as if it was a trade. God damn
no
it.
back matter is what you're saying?
We've been there before.
Yeah, I guess
Okay,
so.
well, what other options do we have for big mech
A big mech? I don't know.
or big robot?
We could do a Peter David book
We could do that.
or find another big mech book. I guess there's a book called, it's also kind of like YA. It's called Sentinel. It's like a kid in the Sentinel.
Okay. We could go Power Rangers.
Yeah, I guess we could. I don't know. It's basically like you read like a story and then there's a big mech fight at the end,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Okay. I think we maybe call it quits for Giant Robot Month then. What would we do for a Peter David book?
My vote would be X-Force
X-Force?
or X-Factor.
Is that what it's called?
With a multiple man.
Yeah.
Just because I really liked Mark Russell's X-Factor, so I'm in like a multiple man and strong man.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Strongman?
Strong man? Strong guy?
Strong guy?
Yeah.
That's something that interests me the most
Okay.
of him.
Yeah, I think if we do Peter David, it's either that one or Spider-Man 2099.
I tried to find like a trade for 2099, but I don't think they have like short trades. They just have like the deluxes,
Okay.
which are like 300 pages or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, let's do X-Factor.
Did you say you had X Factor or something?
I have like a big trade of it in print, but it's like a big collection. It's not just the first trade. And I don't know why I have it. We can do Volume 1, The Longest Night. It's Peter David, Ryan Sook.
Comics Unlimited, baby.
Yes, sir. I'm not for that.
And then as soon as the Giant Robot trade comes out, we'll do that.
Okay, we'll finish it. We'll finish the month that we've committed to.
If you have any other Giant Robo
We need help.
ideas, let us know.
It could be a manga.
Could be a manga.
if it needs to be. But yeah,
I mean-
I don't really. I read this like so early on when I was reading comics. I don't remember it much, but I remember liking it. So
Okay.
should be good.
Cool.
So we will honor Peter David next week.
All right. Sounds good.
One of the goats.
Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out the link in the bio. You can like, comment, subscribe, stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
Email in tradewaiterspod@gmail.com.
Give us a good mech book.
Give us a mech book. Goodbye.
Bye.